Hello again, everybody. It's Harry Boxer, the Technical Trader at thetechtrader.com. It's Thursday, March the 28th. Time for a weekly review for these current swings, both long and short. Market had a good day today, and for me, it was a good trading week. I hope for you guys too. Let's enjoy a 3-day weekend with a quick review here of what the weekly, um, swing trade review it looks like right here. So on the short side, AKAM came down from the bear flag, and we said short it. It's already dropped from 113 twice. I mean, let's see, down to 106.7, but nothing big, and now it's back to 109. I'm not happy with this, but the angle may have just changed. Simple as that. And I'm looking forward to the possibilities of this still being a bearish channel. Of course, anything above, I would have to say 113, 13.5 would be a cover for me. But and once we get below 107, I think the stock starts to cascade lower to 101 and possibly down in the mid 90s, even low 90s. ALT, been a tech trader swing, but after popping and pulling down in a falling wedge, it's recently broken back out again. Yesterday and today were good days for it. Today in particular, up $1.32 or 15%, 8.6 million, 8.8 million traded. If it's going to go, I need to get to the 12-13 zone and then look for 15 and 17. APP, if breaking out and pulling back, we put a swing on it. The stock has gone from about the mid 50s to the mid 70s. A little bit of a pullback here, but I love the way this chart is trending. My next target is mid to high 70s. On the short side, ATGE got hammered and then formed the big bear coil. Of late, it's at resistance. This has to hold. I don't want to see it above 52, and it's right there. So maybe a tight cover, but if it rolls over, it can get hammered back into the mid and low 40s. In the gold sector, AU broke out, pulled back, and now it's moving again. I love the way this looks overall, very symmetrical. Once it gets past resistance, and that's going to be up around the 23.25 range, I'm looking for 26 and 29.30. BAND, nice base breakout, and currently a beautiful falling wedge. This might be an entry up here, but I'd wait for a pop. If it does go, 21 and 24 are your targets. Major deal for Krispy Kreme 2 days ago when it announced a nationwide rollout in McDonald's. How about that? The stock exploded literally from 12 to 18 and then backed off. Now the pullbacks come on lower volume, but I want to see it hold it around here, and the stop would have to be under 14.5. Looking for a move back up to 17, 18, and maybe into the low 20s eventually. ELEV, what a wonderful chart this is. Exploded out of a base, went vertical, flagged for almost 2 months, 7 weeks, and then spiked again, and then is coiling. This coil is slowly moving out. As you see, it's been up for 4 days in a row, holding the trend line. Now, if it continues to do that, it might accelerate. I think once it gets through the 550 area, we're looking at 7, 7.5. Up next is EVER. EverQuote, very strong rising channel and a current coil type pattern, indicating to me that if it pops here through the 20 range, 22.75 and 25.5, 6 would be targets. On the short side, EXPE got slammed 2 months ago. It's been going sideways in a bear coil ever since. Obviously, any move above about 141 would be potential cover, but if it does start to break out to the downside, I would look for 122 and 110. GPS broke out. We put a swing on it. It's been moving up every day until this week or last week when it started to consolidate and form a little flag pattern. Very tight one too. It appears that if it comes out of this, it's going to run 30 and 34 targets. HGAR broke away with a breakaway gap and now has been flagging for about a week, week and a half. Targets, once they get through 18, I'm looking for 21. IoT broke out of a big base pattern and then pulled back, filling that gap and moving right back up again. The move across 41 gets to be mid to high 40s and then low to mid 50s. JMIA, well, it had a beautiful run breaking out here where we put a swing on it and it ran for a few days, but it's pulled back dramatically to test lateral price support and moving average support. It's in a falling wedge. It needs to break out of this and then get to 6.5 and 8.5. Those are targets. LITE also short, broke down, bounced, broke down, bounced, broke down and bounced, unable to get through resistance in the 53 range. Double bottom support around 45 had broken. It could lead to 40 and 36. ML popped, wedged, and broke out slightly and then backed up a little bit. But I think this stock has the guts to go into the mid-90s and maybe even 120.30. New York Times on the short side. I'm looking for this to, after breaking down and forming a big bear quote, to break down. Look like I may have started today. Target is 40 and 38. OCEA pop wedge, pop coil. It's right on support. Has to hold here. Anything under 350 for me is a short. If it pops, and especially if it gets over 5, 6, 7.5, and 9 maybe targets. QUIK broke out after right here on a breakaway gap with volume. We put a swing on it. It moved from 14.5 all the way up to 20.75 before pulling back to support. I still like the overall look of it. Now my target's 22.5 and 25. Root has been the monster of the midway so far. Broke out after running one day. The next day we went long in the 14 range. It ran all the way to 60 and change, pulled back, and it's back up to over 60 again. Matter of fact, right now this looks like a $75 to $80 stock. It's phenomenal. SLNH, not doing much. I was surprised. I thought it was going to pop here. Instead, it rolled back over and retested. Still, it's not completely falling apart. In the last couple of days, it's come up. If we take this base down, this is an $8 stock, but from 297, let's first get to 490 to 5. SPIR exploded out of after we gave you a swing on it, and it got up to target number 1 at the top of the channel. On a secondary, it dropped back down. It's formed some sort of flag here that could be a bear flag. Be careful. The stop is now under 11. If it gets back over 14.5, 15, it may start to run again, at which point the targets are 9, 19, and 23. Square. Pop, pull back, and pop again. We put a swing on it, but then pull back. Net at this point, it looks like a pretty strong rising channel has just started on it. And it looks like that. My target, mid-90s. VERI has been very, very good until yesterday when it reversed, and today it backed off. It's at the trend line. It needs to hold right about here. If it doesn't, you may see a pullback towards 3 3/4, 4. But a breakout above 7.5 gives you 8, 9, and 10. VKTX exploded from here. We put a swing on it, and then had a breakaway spike on strong news. Ever since then, for 4 or 5 weeks, it's been coiling. I still think it got the guts to be 130 to 150. And finally, YELP on the short side broke down and formed the bear coil. Now, I may have drawn the lines wrong, and I would stop this one over the gap if it got over 40.5 thereabout. But if it should fade and fail right here, that looks to me like a rising bear flag, and the downside targets are pretty ugly. Possibly 35, possibly 31, even as low as high 20s. Very possible on this one. We shall see. And that's it for me tonight. Review of the swing trades from the techtrader.com. Good night, everybody.